if I'm live yet. It's not showing on my end. What the heck? Okay, here we go. Took a minute for the live to come up on my end. Feel free to skip the first ad. Welcome everyone. I know not a lot of people are here yet. That's okay. So yesterday I did a reading live about future love. And I thought, oh, you know what? Let me put the light up on this real quick. But today I thought, you know what? Let's go ahead and do, let me see if I can reach this. There it is. Oh, what did I just do? Hang on, guys. Sorry about that. I'm trying to get the enhanced lighting up because it does make a difference. So, but I'm trying to do it from the side. Enhanced lighting. There we go. Okay. I like that better. I feel like it gives us a little bit more light. So anyways, welcome guys. Hi Rachel. Hi Simpson. Hi Broken Bee Bliss. I saw you here earlier. Hi Nikolai. Hi Miss Rack. Hi Denise. Take your time. Your readings are always amazing. Thank you, Rachel. Hi Jackie. Hi Anne. Am I an artist? Well, I think I am. You know what I mean? Like I do paint, I do draw. I'm not good at drawing though. Otherwise I'd create my own tarot cards. Still looking for that perfect artist who can take what's in my mind and put it on paper. Because I know what I want my cards to look like. I've written it down. Now I just need that artist who can pick my mind. Probably going to be like someone from YouTube that is on here a lot with me. Hi, Nikki. I try to, I got to change my room out every once in a while, and I should do that. I should put more of my paintings up. Hi, Sophia. What do you mean by no contact? I mean like someone ghosted you, like like everything was going along and then all of a sudden there's no contact. What makes someone do that? First of all, I don't like that at all, but I guess each to their own. And I find, because I am an earth sign, that us earth signs are the worst of that. So what I mean is probably someone that you would already have on your mind who, for whatever reason, things ended, and then probably there was no, what's the word I'm looking for? Like no resolution, just kind of left you hanging type of thing. And what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to use the same cards I used yesterday, where we did future love, and I'm going to use the same format. I hope you guys liked it. I loved it. And I may even do your monthlies for what follows March, April. I may do your monthlies in this format because I really love it. Hi Denise, could be someone that's been silent lately. Absolutely. Whenever it is, you know what I mean? It's just like someone who just stopped contact. And some of you, it could be you. You know what I mean? But what I'm trying to do is figure out why. And is it even worth our time to, I don't know, let's say then contact comes in. Is it what then we will want? You know what I mean? That type of thing. So I'm going to leave it open. I always leave my mind out of it. And I'm just an open vessel for my spirit guides, for you guys. and your spirit guides, by the way. Yes, it is worth our time. Should we just let it go? And I feel like that's a personal call. I feel because like I can't say just because someone ghosted you that means that's it. Because to be honest with you, when Sam and I came back together 40 years later, and we spent 5 years on the phone, we went through like a lot of lessons. And he did ghost me for like 4 days, and I'm a Virgo, he's a Virgo, and boy, I don't take that well at all. So he had to kind of talk me into like even coming back. But now we're in union. So, things can work out. Um, but you got to know at the same time. Anyways, I'm just talking and talking. Hi, Jackie. Um, all right. So we're going to use Mother Mary. We'll use that at the end with this type of reading. We're going to clarify with the Gilded Tarot. And we're going to use the Psychic Tarot, and we're going to use the Cozy Witch Tarot, and we're going to use them together to tell the story. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and start the reading. And then afterwards, I'm going to answer questions, hopefully regarding the reading, but it doesn't necessarily have to. I think tomorrow, maybe in the evening, I'm going to go live and it'll just be free, or donated live question and answers. But for the readings, I don't know. I put donations for the questions. Okay. So we have that ready. Let's go ahead and just get the Cozy Witch all ready. And don't think I'm ignoring your comments. Thank you, Denise. We're going to do the reading first, and then we're going to get to the comments. So, why is someone ghosting us? And let's start with the Psychic Tarot. All right. I'm going to try to do 4 across, and then 4 of the Cozy Witch. Look at that. Or whatever wants to come out. Look how they all came face up. All right. Well, there we go. There's the Tower. There's the silence. There's a disruption in our life. I'm going to bring the lid down. I mean, it only makes sense, right? That Tower would show discontentment and boredom. I often feel like the first line is really telling us like where we've been, and the energy that we're going through because of that. But then I feel like it only gets better and better and better. So whatever that truth may be to you. So the 4 of Cups are sitting right next to the Tower. Well, it definitely feels like it had some effect because this person is kind of turning their back to the world. And, sometimes we may feel like there is only, like it is only that one person that I want. And again, maybe that person is the right person for you, but this card asks you to use your spiritual discernment. And it is about a cup that's coming in. That's why you want to use your spiritual discernment. Like let's say someone goes to you, but let's say they have a habit of doing that. Well, to me, and maybe again, because I'm a Virgo, it's like, okay, maybe I could take it once, but I don't know that I could take it more than once. 4 Cups does talk about discontentment and boredom in one's life, but it's truly feels like someone just has turned their back against the world. But listen, maybe that's what I needed to do. Maybe it's just what I needed to do at the time. Ace of Wands. I never feel like time is wasted, even when we feel like oh man, I didn't do anything but just lay there and cry or what have you. I still feel like there's something you're learning. Well, just look at this, the sun. It's like I should put the cards out first and then talk, because the sun really explains what I'm trying to say. The sun's like a brand new day. This could certainly talk about a rebirth. You know what I mean? It could certainly talk about a rebirth, especially with it sitting next to the Ace of Wands. You do need to use your spiritual discernment. And then what comes out with the Sun is the Three of Cups, a reason to celebrate. First of all, that is the card of Leo. So I know there's Leos here. They're like, hello. But how interesting that the Sun is mirroring the Tower. And again, I feel like, there may have been a time for some where I feel like, yeah, I turned my back against the world. I probably needed to just find like emotional clarity within myself, and that is never a bad thing. That's a good thing. But I still feel like, but yet I still have this love for someone. So I feel like this energy is, I feel like an issue, something happened, because I'm not feeling like this is it, though I am feeling like it feels like, okay, this is it. But then the Ace of Wands by the Sun, passion ignited. So is someone coming back in? And if they are coming back in, well, first of all, you have the Three of Cups. Now, I do want to say sometimes when I see the Three of Cups mirrored by the Tower, someone could have been a drinker. You know what I mean? And when I say that, I mean like a partier, like my party days were more important, or at least I thought, that hanging out with my friends and doing what I want. Three is a very singular type number. It's Trinity though, also, but it is an energy where, like, if it's a life path three, where really the person does think more about themselves. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because sometimes we need to do that. Okay, but I love the Sun right next to the Ace of Wands. What am I doing? I'm going to use the Cozy Witch now. So let's go right underneath that with the Cozy Witch. And by the way, I'm not ignoring your comments. Well, I kind of am, only until the reading is done, because I want to give all my focus to your reading. And then we will go into questions and answers. Okay. So, the very first card tells me that I was meant to do this reading. You know what I mean? Like, I've never done a reading of no contact before. And it's interesting, when I was having my coffee this morning, it kept coming in my head like, no contact, no contact, no contact. And I'm like, what, a reading on that? I just did future love, and it felt so bright and lovely. And now no contact. That feels dark and heavy. But that's what I was called to do. Okay. We're going to take them. All right. Well, hello, Ace of Wands. This is one of the reasons why I decided to do two different decks. I am looking for the synchronicities between the two. It's almost like this is one person, and now we have the Ace of Wands under that Tower. Hello. Passion ignited. Passion ignited. I feel like, yes, that Tower held me down, but it doesn't feel like it's holding someone down for long. But let's keep going. We have the High Priestess under the Four of Cups. We have, look at this, the Tower. Interesting. We have the Tower over the Ace of Wands. And here we have the Ace of Wands over the Tower. I mean, and then Seven of Pentacles. Those of you who follow me, I often feel, first of all, Seven of Pentacles is patience. It is really learning to have patience. I feel like the Seven of Pentacles is like your garden, and it's the seeds that you planted, that you've already planted, and the new seeds you are planting. And when I say that, I feel like then we must be talking about soulmate energy, because it feels like this is a seed of intention that, sometimes, and I know it's hard to hear, but sometimes we're meant to go through these towers. Like sometimes you like these shakeups. Because let's just say this person up here like was just, you know, because I feel like it's probably had nothing to do with love. And I feel like more someone was thinking more about themselves, which again, they have every right to do. But I feel like, but then I stopped contact. Now, I feel, what a shitty way of doing it, right? But I feel like they suffered. They suffered, or they are suffering. And I feel like it's like their spiritual team is, I feel like, guiding them. Of course, they're guiding them, but helping to guide them. Well, first of all, I feel like first helping them to find real clarity. And when the sun is out, there's nothing to fear like clarity. What's done in the dark will come to the light. It's kid like energy again. And I feel like someone was in their kid like energy. I do feel like they have matured or has had the realization. It's almost like it's like two people who they just feel right, but yet life just gets in the way sometimes. And I guess we have to learn how to like overcome these obstacles and challenges. But this feels like a rebirth. I don't know how else to read it. It feels like a rebirth. And I also feel like in the Four of Cups energy, underneath it is the High Priestess, one's intuition. So I feel like, who's ever in the Four of Cups, and I feel like chances are it's the majority that are here. Um, Again, I feel like nothing was wasted. Like I may feel I wasted time, but I feel like you're thinking like I was able to find some type of an emotional clarity. Maybe not everything I needed, you know what I mean? Like 100% because I'm still being ghosted, but yet I found like, I almost feel like an opportunity to find inner harmony within yourself. I do feel like this is about two people who potentially are meant to be together. It doesn't guarantee us anything, though. You know what I mean? Because, yes, we're spiritual beings, but we're having human experiences, and our humanness is oftentimes what, I feel like this person would say, I just wasn't ready. But I don't feel like it's about love. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I love you. I'm just not ready. However, now I feel like things are changing. Okay, well, let's take the psychic tarot and let's go underneath. Whoa. Fulfillment of wishes. Look at that. Under the Ace of Pentacles, under the Tower. I'm sorry, the Ace of Wands. Let's talk about the Ace of Wands for a second, because in the Ace of Wands, especially because it's connected to the Tower, somebody was probably receiving like epiphanies, ideas, passion. It's almost like their heartstrings are being pulled at. And I feel like it's over you. I feel like the passion belongs to you, but yet I feel like it's like their guides again. We're reaching them in their, I feel like someone was living in a lower vibrational energy, and maybe both of us were. But then I started to raise my vibration. This person was like, no, I don't want to give up this and I don't want to give up that. And so they may have like felt, I feel like we feel we're different than what we were. But I also feel it's because one's vibration was lifting because I wanted to lift my vibration. Maybe I was becoming more and more spiritual, and this person, not so much yet. And I do want to say yet. All right, let's keep going. So, hello, fulfillment of wishes. I mean, with the Ace of Wands right above it, we have the Chariot. It's called Triumph in the Psychic Tarot. Wow. Another 7. You know, the Chariot is unlimited potential. The Chariot is definitely movement. And I love that it's moving after fulfillment of wishes. So I feel like, listen, I feel like we have to be real with ourselves. You know what I mean? Does that mean everybody's person is going to reach out? And maybe they're not, maybe it's not even about reaching out yet. Maybe right now it's just like the passion's being ignited within them, but I feel like that's more of their guides, but then as we start to move down, I feel like then they start to listen to their guides and they start to, and they probably don't even know it's their guides, because I get a feeling that this person doesn't understand spirituality, maybe religion, but you know what I mean? But I feel like they're learning. Card of Cancer, by the way. All right, well, let's keep going. Reward and recognition. Well, that's what I want my soulmate to do. I want them to recognize my soul and mine theirs. This is about your individuality. I love the image because I feel this person's very humbled. Like I'm being I'm being recognized, and it makes me humble. And it makes me think of like me, like if I get a compliment, I'm one of those people who's like, oh, I have a hard time taking a compliment, so to speak. But I feel like really what this is speaking about is each other and each other's souls. I feel like this person, the person who stopped contact, I feel like they had to be humbled. And this has nothing to do with you. Like you're not the one who is, putting them in this position. I feel like their guides are. Like they needed to be humbled. And therefore they are. It's almost like, I don't, I'm just going to tell you what came to my mind, but it's reminding me of like the movie Scrooge, and where three angels visited Scrooge, right, to show him his ways. I don't know why I'm picking that up, but I am. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, well, we're going to take that and we're going to pick these up because there's just too many. But we are going to take this, the 9 of Pentacles, and I want you to see how you have 2 9s mirroring this line. One is fulfillment of wishes. That is the 9 of Pentacles, or 9 of Cups. And that talks about inner harmony. And, I feel like if let's say this is going to have a rebirth, then it's important that I have inner harmony. It's important that I find that. You know what I mean? Because if I come, let's say this person reaches out in some manner, but I come in a very aggressive way, even though you have every reason to. I don't know, because I just don't know if that is, well, I guess I have to leave that up to you. But then what's mirroring it is an independent nature. So again, I feel the energy of like time wasn't wasted. Some of you may have been like receiving epiphanies about, what you do in the world. It could be like talents and gifts that you have that you weren't using. Maybe I didn't even know I had them. And all of a sudden they start rising up. And, because I feel like you're becoming more and more spiritual, you're understanding energy more and more. And therefore, if that is true, then I feel like if this if this ace is going to reconnect these two, first and foremost, we got to figure out what happened in the beginning, right? I kind of feel like I already know. So, has this person evolved from that energy? I feel like the answer is yes. At least if this is coming back together, I feel like the answer is yes. I feel like someone is realizing, and listen, I don't know how much time has passed. It could have been a little bit of time, and it could have been 9 years, but it doesn't have to be that. Um, but what I'm trying to say is, I feel like sometimes time is our friend, because I feel like they got to a place. I don't want to say they had to get to a place, but they got to a place where I feel like you or the thought of you became more important than what I was doing. So if I was partying, okay, well, that was fun. But now, what did I lose because of that? So I don't even know if they know if they can even get you back. Because I feel like you're sitting over here in this independent nature. I'm not the girl I once was or the boy I once was. I've grown. I have found inner harmony. And I hope that they have too. And then we have material and spiritual prosperity right over the Nine of Pentacles. This is not about your money, but I have to say that, and I know a lot of you have spiritual based businesses, let's say, or you use your spirituality within your business or how you relate to people type of thing. Um, Boy, is this a great omen that you're on the right path. Not just that. And I do feel like this is a year where a lot of us are going to see increases in our money, promotions. I feel like a lot of people are going to, if they haven't already, are going to start their own business. And I feel like if you already have, maybe I haven't seen the fruits of my labor yet, but I feel like this is a year that you're going to see them. So don't give up that part of you for love, no matter what, because this is just as important. Another way of saying that is our soul doesn't come down here just to find love. It's to find all kinds of experiences and adventures and lessons. Anyway, great omen for that. All right, I'm going to slide these up a little bit, and then we're going to take one more line. And then I'm going to take Mother Mary over them, over my beautiful lovers here. And then I'm going to get to the comment section. Okay. So what are we looking at? We're looking at the Cozy Witch. And by the way, I'd love to know how this relates to you. If it does relate to you. We have the Queen of Wands. And I'm going to read to you what it says because I feel like it's important. Replace your self-doubt with self-confidence. Well, I feel like that's what you did. Coming under the Nine of Cups, I feel like it's exactly what you did. And I feel like that's why I was feeling like I'm not the same girl. I'm not the same woman. Even if this just happened a month ago, right? I have found clarity within myself, or I'm finding it. We have the Two of Swords. almost makes me feel like, okay, here they come. Now, they could be met with the Eight of Swords, but they're being met with the Two of Swords. We have, look at this, the Six of Cups. Someone that I used to know. Okay. I feel a couple different things. First of all, I feel like, what's the best thing I can do if I really want this to be forever? We have to remember the good times, the loving times, right? Of course, there's a tower. Of course, in every relationship's going to have ebbs and flows to it. But this is saying that the more I can remember the happy times, the good times, I feel like the more I potentially will say, okay, I'm going to give you a chance. I don't feel like this is anything about like, let's just get right back into it. No, I do feel like they've got to prove themselves a little bit. But I feel like this is for both of you. Like the best thing that we can do is remember the love. Doesn't mean we're going to forget the tower, but we don't want that tower to be the predictor of our present nor future. All right. All right, well, we're not going to take all of them, so I'm going to take this one. Queen of Cups. Interesting, we have two queens here. Queen of Cups, Queen of Wands. Queen of Cups, she's just sitting on her back porch. At least I think it's her back porch. Could be her front porch. But I don't know. I feel like I'm sitting on my back porch and I feel like I'm just reminiscing. She's looking out into the future. You know what I mean? She's looking out into the world, where in the Four of Cups, I had my back to the world. Now I'm facing the world. She's got her cup. And I feel like ultimately, this is a queen I would want to see as it relates to love. Now, I'm not saying every queen shouldn't have love. That's not what I mean at all. But the Queen of Cups really is someone who, much like the King, really loves having that special person in their life. You know what I mean? Like, and I do feel like, it's as we evolve. And I feel like this person needed to evolve. And I'm not going to say they were wrong, because they have their own rights. But I do feel like going quiet without an explanation, I feel like that is wrong. But I guess that's their right. But again, Queen of Cups, I feel like is open. Will be open to this. All right, I just want to look at the bottom of the decks. Deception and envy. Okay. I'm kind of reading the Psychic Tarot as the other person. So, don't love that. But let's be real. That is probably what caused the tower. Now, it doesn't have to mean that someone was cheating. It just means someone's lying. It just means that, if I can't trust your word, then what do I have? Whether you're doing something or not, if I keep feeling it, well, first of all, ask yourself, why am I feeling it? Why did I keep feeling it? And sometimes this energy could have happened before, but then we project it on the next person, almost like, well, the last person cheated, so I know you're going to cheat. You know what I mean? And we got to learn to start at the Fool's energy. Like, let the past be the past. Yes, clarity over the past, but then let it be the past. And I feel like that's why the Six of Cups is so important. The happy memories. This is passionate. I mean, there's passion all over the board. All right, let's look at the bottom. Well, hello. So the Chariot. And I feel like this is more you guys that are here. I know not everyone, but I do feel that. So we do have double Cancer on the board because we have two Chariots. but maybe both are now, if given the time. And I don't feel like this is about moving quickly, because I do feel like chances are I do need to take it slow. I need to be able to trust you and know that I can trust you. But I feel like if this is true, this person is going to show you. They're going to show you. And I hope that you allow yourself to pay attention to your intuition, both in case it is not right or if it is right. And if you're not sure which is the Two of Swords, I don't know. I want it, but I'm not sure. I would say take it slow, step by step. Earn my trust. Earn my trust again. If you earn my trust, you'll probably earn my heart. But without trust, there's nothing. Nothing. All right, let's do a Mother Mary over it, and then let's get to the comment section. It's quite beautiful here today. Happy Sunday, everyone, by the way. I have lost my days. I thought today was Wednesday. Don't ask me why. But happy Sunday. And where I'm at, we're getting into the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. So, something to look forward to. All right. Action. Well, you do have two aces of wands, which do speak of action. And now Mother Mary is here to back that up. Today, I take action related to the priorities that I had previously put off. Action. Action. Where's the other ace? Action. Divine action. Divine intervention. And then divine action. Mother Mary. Thank you. Okay. Let me just get a drink. Of iced tea. And let's go into the comment section. All right. Trying to think who's the last person I said hi to. Nikolai, it's pronounced Nikolai. Oh, Nikolai. Nikolai. Okay. I'll try to remember that, Nikolai. I'll try. Ms. Rack, today I'm doing donations regarding the reading or questions, but I probably will come on, I'm thinking like tomorrow evening, and do just open questions with no reading. All right, Denise. Been seeing each other for 4 years in a situation. All right, Denise, I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that. So I just want to see if you wrote anything else. Denise, Jackie, I hope we get clarity. Been seeing each other for 4 years, but in a situation. All right. I'm not 100% sure what you mean, Denise. Why has he been so weird? Okay. All right. Let's use, oh, you know what? I was going to come back and clarify the reading, and I didn't even do that. But you know what? I don't feel like we even need it. I feel like it's pretty clear. But for Denise, you've been seeing each other for 4 years, and what's going on? I feel like it's being a little weird. So I'm going to use the Gilded Tarot, by the way, Denise. All right. By the way, when I do a live reading, I just want everyone to know, in case you see like a double of it, I also download it because you can't, like, I can't share this to some of the platforms as a live, so I have to download it. So don't, some of you may wonder, why does Sandy have double of some readings? That's why. All right. We have the Queen of Cups. Just taken across the middle. I'm going to keep the spread out. We have the Two of Swords, though it did come in reverse. It's like you're looking at this person, like, what the hell? We have the Page of Wands. Justice, card of Libra, the Nine of Swords, interesting. Under that Two of Swords, I feel like there's a lot of worry going on. We have the Hermit, card of Virgo, by the way, and the Page of Pentacles. Interesting that the Hermit is illuminating the Page of Pentacles. To me, the Page of Pentacles is really about learning different experiences along the way. Yes, I can certainly talk about your money, but I also feel like it's talking about wisdom, experiences, you know what I mean? Like building a life for oneself. I feel like there's a lot of worry going on right now between the two of you. And it's interesting because I feel like, there's two nines here. One's the Nine of Swords. Nine of Swords is a lot of worry, Denise, but it is about unnecessary worry. I have a feeling that your person is reflecting upon something, and it feels like something deep, almost like they're going through something that may have like just came out of nowhere. And I'm not talking about another person. I feel like it's a situation. And it almost feels like they have to deal with it. Like, I don't have a choice. And it's interesting because why are you not included in that? I don't know. I'm not sure why you're not included. However, I do feel that whatever is going on, I feel like you will have clarity. Like, I feel like they will speak to you about exactly like what's going on at this period of time. Like, why am I being the way I am? I do want to say also, the more, it's hard to say this, but the more that you can let go of control, and I say that because of the Nine of Swords, it really means unnecessary worry. And if I don't examine that, then it will show itself through the body in one way or another. Anxiety, sleepless nights can turn into depression, but it doesn't need to. That's the thing. It doesn't need to. I feel like you two are going through some type of a learning experience right now. And I feel like it's mainly your person. And I do feel like they will speak about it in time. Interesting, because I feel like the Two of Swords was like the block. You know what I mean? But now that it's in reverse, I feel like we're going to have movement here pretty quick. I feel like there's something in their life that they had to cut ties to. And I almost feel like there's no other way around it. I want to just go right in between the Emperor. Could be a job. Could be thinking about what I want to be. Like what I want to build in my world. It's also interesting because as the Emperor comes out, it is a card of Aries, by the way. But I feel like this is someone, who it's almost like they're being forced to have a deep reflection over who they are, their integrity. Their integrity. I feel like your person's up here also. And because I feel the same thing up here, like their spirit guides are helping them to have reflection upon whatever it is that is, I feel like spooking them in a way. But I feel like at the same time, your person is, it's almost like they're being made aware of, like, are you a good person? Are you of integrity? Are you someone that others can look up to now? And I feel like I probably had to be brought down to my knees to start to rebuild myself back up. So I feel like, long story short, I feel like your person's going through something that it feels like a life lesson. Um, and that's what I'm getting. That's what I'm getting. But I don't feel like this is I don't feel like this is forever. I just feel like it's for now. And I feel like they will figure this out. And I do feel like there is something, again, they need to cut ties to. And that's only going to serve you too. That's not why I'm cutting the ties. Well, I shouldn't say that, maybe. Um, it's almost like your person really had to find their spiritual self. And I feel like they are. But maybe that takes, again, I guess it takes however long it takes, for each person is going to be a little different. Okay, I'm going to pick that up. Um, but I do feel like it's temporary, Denise. You have two S's, and I'm hoping it's Janice. It could be Denise. All right, guys. I want to remind you that I am doing donations only today. I know that sounds, I don't even like the way it sounds, but hi, Berber. Hi, Roland. Voyager 22222. And nothing wanted from a ghosted. They are not even in my friend zone. They are in a third party situation, unbeknownst to me. All I was open to with them in the first place was friendship. Never apologized. Um, okay, so I am saying your name right. Good. He's not very confident about himself. Well, that may be what he's learning. And by the way, Denise, I in no way did I feel like it was another person. I just feel like I feel like it's a good thing, even though it's a difficult thing. And I feel like it's difficult on his end too, to be honest. But nonetheless, it's like important. It's important that he learns what his guides want him to learn. Maria, enjoying my iced tea in sunny weather. Thank you, Maria. Mindy, Thank you, Mindy. Do you have a question? Hello, Mindy. I haven't heard the name Mindy in such a long time, but I had a friend in grade school whose name was Mindy. You just made me think of her. But go ahead and type your question, Mindy. Whatever message Spirit has for me would be wonderful. You got it, my dear. You got it. I'm going to use the Universal Tarot. And I tell you guys what deck I'm using. I know I say this all the time, but I tell you just because if you come in another live reading, which, a lot of you do, if there's a certain deck that you like, you can certainly ask for it. Okay, but Mindy and her spirit guides, and my spirit guides. What does Mindy need to know? What can she know right now? Any messages? Oh. Soon as I said any messages, boom. We have Temperance, divine timing. Temperance is about patience. But this is patience that we want to have because something good is coming. It's divine. And how do I know that? Look at what comes next to it, Mindy. Soulmates. The Two of Cups should go this way. First, Temperance. And, oh no, I had it the right way. How beautiful is that? Like a soulmate love in divine timing. And what divine is saying to you is you don't even have to worry about it. Like it just happens at the right time with the right person. Now, it doesn't guarantee us that, again, everything is hunky-dory. That's a weird word. I don't know why. Sometimes when I say certain words, I'm like, why? But anyways, what a beautiful way of opening up your reading. It's the card of Sagittarius, by the way. And I often feel, I don't know if you can see your monitor, but like there's Temperance and she's mixing, I feel like the love between the two cups. She's making sure they're of equal value, so to speak, of equal vibration. And then it's time. And then it's time. Whoa. Okay. We have the Three of Wands. Interesting, because that's exactly what Temperance would say to you, is the message of the Three of Wands. Be optimistic for your future. This is the energy of just knowing that my ships will come in their due time. And in the meantime, I'm just going to be busy living life. I'm going to enjoy my present. I'm going to look forward to my future. I'm not going to put negative energy towards it, right? Whatever comes my way, if I know the divine is with me, I'll be able to handle it. Not only handle it, but I feel like enjoy it. We have the Page of Cups, and then we have, three that fell. Well, they didn't fall. I feel like my guy just want me to move my seat. We have the Ten of Wands under Temperance. We have Hello Empress under the Two of Cups. And then, whoa, Ace of Cups. Mindy. Okay. So now real life is showing itself. Because in the Ten of Wands, it does talk about a heavy period of time in your life. But it feels like that's what's coming to an end. The Ten of Wands really is, it reminds me of like When I was raising my kids and working a full-time job and had to come home and get dinner on the table and get the kids baths. And, it's just like, a lot, right? A lot. But as love is related, I also feel like this is saying, that you've been through it, And I feel like I know that you've come out of like your past experiences stronger than you were. And I know that because the Empress is showing. And that tells me that, you're allowing your heart to remain open, or if you're not, you should. Because this feels like really great love. And the 2 threes, the Empress, are loving and nurturing, but very powerful Empress. And the 3 of Wands, optimism. Page of Cups, your inner child. And it could talk about the healing of the inner child. And then that does feel like the perfect time to reintroduce love into your life. But not any old love. This is soulmate love. Unconditional love. And how much do I love that it's being met by the Empress? And why am I saying that? Because in the Empress's energy, I'm going to take that love, even if I'm not sure about it. And I'm going to trust my energy. I'm going to trust my intuition. And I'm going to allow myself to enjoy. And I can do that because I do trust my intuition. I'm going to allow myself to enjoy each present moment with this person. And if there are challenges, I know that you can overcome them. I just know it. Because otherwise, divine wouldn't be putting the 2 of you together. Mindy, this looks quite beautiful. Even though the 10 of Wands is here, that feels like what is ending. So I feel like the period of time where maybe I just thought, something is too much or what have you, whatever it may be, it feels like it is now coming to an end. And I feel like now it's like a different part of your world is opening up. Even if you're already in love, this is just saying the type of love. And if you're not yet, holy cow, hang on to your hat, my dear. But I feel like the 3 of Wands is really important here. My intentions are 9/10 of the law. I know my ships will come in their due time. I trust divine. Divine is right here. And divine is the one who is, this is the wrong word, but controlling the soulmates. Because I don't feel like she's controlling them. I just cannot find the right word. So, Mindy, beautiful. Listen, I feel like you've come a long way, my dear. And again, it reminds me of the reading where I maybe would say to someone, I'm not the same person I used to be. Maybe I'm saying it to myself. I am not that same person anymore. I have grown so much. I feel like you should be proud of yourself. I definitely feel like you should be proud of yourself. Love aside. All right. Mindy. Wow. I want to remind people are putting questions. Today I am doing donations only. Doesn't have to be a lot. It's just, but I am going to go, I think, live tomorrow evening. I'm going to go live sometime tomorrow, and we'll just do question and answers tomorrow. I don't want you to think that I'm just forgetting about you. All right, GR. Hi, my GR. Reading on your Capricorn, please. You got it. And I'm trying to think. I think it's Ray. I could be wrong. I feel like I want to stay. The 2 of Wands didn't want to come up. Could talk about a new path opening up. Oh, it is Ray. All right. So, I feel like I remember the last reading for you and Ray, and I feel like it was pretty detailed. Okay, but let's go from the present moment, this very present moment with Ray and GR. All right, GR and Ray, what's going on in this very present moment? The Knight of Pentacles, GR. I love that. The Ace of Swords. Oh my gosh. And then the Ace of Wands. Look at that. Okay. First of all, you know, the Knight of Pentacles, its lesson is patience. It's the slowest moving knight. And GR, I know that this energy has been slow moving for you, but it is a slow moving knight. But it's the knight that I trust the most. Not that I don't trust. I don't know why I always say that. I trust all the knights, but this knight to me feels like guardian angel type energy where I'm responsible to come in to help expand your world. So, you know, Ray aside, this is talking about a blessing that is coming for you, um, or another way of saying that is true expansion. Now, then you have the Ace of Swords, communication, potentially, but again, it's slow moving. And then it's met by the Ace of Wands. I'm wondering how this reading related to you because there's two Aces of Wands right in the reading. Let's keep going. Two ones, by the way. Seven of Swords. And the Ten of Pentacles. You know what I feel like your guides are saying here? I feel like your guides are saying, if we were to bring Ray into your life, because I'm asking for this current moment, though maybe I should have left it open, and I am leaving it from now on, leaving it open for the rest of your reading. But I feel like what your guides are saying is, if we were to bring, or if we were to help usher Ray and you back together at this present moment, I feel like Ray would be cheating. I feel like it would be, and I feel like this would be on his end. It's almost like, maybe it's his guides, but I feel like it's a mixture because I feel like, I know, like as Ray, I know that. Now, I'm not going to say he's even beyond not doing that, but I feel like in the same breath, it's like your guardian angel is like, like, I want Ray to come to you free and clear. All right, let's take one more. We have the Queen of Cups. It's interesting, GR, because I feel like in every reading that we do for Ray, I feel like you are on his mind. Now, does that mean that someone's going to take action? I feel like what your guides are saying is if Ray did take action, let's say today, in this current moment type energy, I feel like it would be, it would be, how do I say this? Like, it feels like like, I want to say bad karma, but I don't feel for you. And what do I mean by that? I mean that I feel that there would be a price to pay. And I feel like it's a spiritual price. You know, not an earthly price. Like, okay, like if I'm with someone like that other person's going to give me, like, put me through hell. No, it feels more spiritual than that. But I do feel like every time we do a reading that, like, you're on Ray's mind. And it's interesting because, you know, I get this feeling like if I could go back, and this is him, if I could go back and do things, and maybe that's what's happening. Maybe these spirit guides are getting to these people who have, in some way, put us on a back burner, but it doesn't feel like we're meant to be on that back burner. Like we're meant to be on the front burner. So I feel like, in a way, it's protection for you. Now, I know I'd rather just have Ray, but I feel like the way that if this is going to come back together, I do feel like there is a need for him to be straight within himself. You know, I feel like I'm not saying the right words. Let's take one before King of Swords, and then it is met by the Two of Pentacles. Okay. Boy, interesting, because it makes me feel like, you know, like I'm not sure. Like, in a way, I want to reach out, but I'm not sure it's the right thing to do. You know, almost like, and I think raised with someone else, because I get this feeling like I would be cheating, but yet I still feel like I'm considering it. And I feel like your guides and his guides, but mainly your guides are, you know, like, I feel like what they're saying is if you and Ray are going to be, then he needs to clean up his life. And I'm not judging him, though it sounds like I am. But I know when I mean clean up his life, I mean that if he wants to be with you, then he needs to start taking the action to allow that to be. And I feel like I keep feeling like he wants to be. I just want to look at this Seven of Swords. All right, Page of Pentacles. So it's a learning experience, maybe for both of you. I feel like I feel like you are ready to give your cup to him. And I feel like, it's not that he wouldn't take your cup, but I feel like his cup needs to be full, if that makes sense. And if his cup is not full for you, then it doesn't feel like the right time, even if he would claim that. But it does kind of feel like, a decision is being made, like I'm trying to figure out, and it may be just whether to reach out. You know, we are doing no contact today, and that's what I'm really looking for. Like, are some of these, people going to reach out, or some of these people do we just have to let go of? And that again is, you know, free will. I can't really answer that for you, though I can show you whatever wants to be shown. So that's just what I feel right now, GR, that, definitely is that you're on his mind. And I get this feeling like, oh man, like if I could go back and do things differently, then I feel like you would be part, of his life. But that's just not the way it is right now. Okay. I'm going to let that be. Look at that. 2 aces with your guardian angel. All right. Mindy, I just wanted to read your comment real quick. Sweet. Lots of continued effort and lots of lessons. 33. Are you a master number 33? I see 33 all the time. Matter of fact, we just saw 33, right? We're at the Empress. That was in someone's reading. And you're very welcome. Jamie Collins. Hope you're doing well, Jamie. Is Chris my person? I feel like he is. Nobody seems to take his place. When will I hear from him? Or is someone else? I think you just mean, or is there someone else? You're ready for love. Okay. So we're looking at Chris. And if it's not Chris, who, let's just say, is going to be your very special person, then tell us who will be. All right. So this is for Jamie. Let me give them a couple more shuffles. That didn't shuffle really well. All right, Jamie. Whoa. 10 of Swords. The High Priestess. That's your intuition. The 8 of Swords. I have to tell you, I don't love what's going on here right now. Because I feel like Chris could potentially be like what I would call a repeat pattern. And what I mean by that is, this is what I think you should ask yourself, have you like taken sword after sword after sword? Is there been a repeat pattern, but nothing seems like it just keeps going back to the same place, or it keeps going back to a tower type thing. Now, if this is not a repeat pattern with Chris, then it may be a repeat pattern within your life. And it just may mean, because the 8 of Swords is mirroring the 10 of Swords, self-created prison. And it makes complete sense when I've taken 10 swords. But I have to say, when you look at this image, this person sees the swords coming. Maybe the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, maybe, I don't know, maybe I was uncertain. But the 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, I've got to look at it. Because what is it doing to you? It's causing you to create this barrier. And even though you're ready for love, it's like you're telling the universe that you're not. And I feel like a lesson that you are going through is learning how to trust your intuition as it relates to love and people in your life. So at this very moment, it makes me feel like Chris potentially may not be your forever person. Now, I feel like, for us to say that someone who's done us wrong can't change, we need to just look at ourselves. We've changed. I've changed. I'm not the same person I used to be. I've evolved. Justice and the Tower. All right, Jamie. I don't feel like Chris is your person. That doesn't mean that you weren't meant to be together, when you were together. Maybe there was something you were really learning. Maybe Chris is a karmic partner. Because I feel like really what it's saying is, because first of all, there's the Ten of Swords that is mirrored by the Eight of Swords, and then underneath it comes the Tower. So I feel like it's saying that there's been a lot of hardship here, at least for you. And I feel like it's not serving you. I feel like you don't feel whole. And whether it be Chris, or it just be yourself, like saying, sometimes we give someone too much time, too much of ourselves, and they don't give it back. Sometimes that has to be our answer. And I feel like your intuition really wants to help lead you here, because you have created this self-created prison. And the great thing about the Eight of Swords, if there is anything great, is when I realize that I'm trying to protect myself through these swords, and I realize that it's not the swords that are gonna, it's like building a wall, but people can climb over that wall. So it's not the wall that I build, it's the energetic feelings that I have. And that's what I want to trust in, is that first instinct. So I kind of feel like Chris is not your guy. But I do feel like, again, I'm not going to say there was no purpose to it, but I want to now, if Chris is not your guy, then tell us more. Well, hello, world. And the Magician. I mean, completely different energy than the last cards. So you have the World, which is the next chapter. But listen, the World, much like the Chariot, I feel like comes, sometimes we can't control like the next chapter. It's just time for the next chapter. It's like 2024 is now opened up. That's a chapter. But I also feel like this is also speaking about your life. And, if you make the decision like that, you're no longer going to consider Chris like your, let's just say, your only one. And then I love the Magician here because, first of all, the Magician's pointing to heaven, and it has the number 8 over it, which is the sign of infinity. As above, so below. No beginning, no end. And it's, the Magician teaches the Fool, which really you are the Fool, because if you decide to open up this next chapter, and that may be saying that I'm going to let go of potentially Chris, or let's just say the idea of it, if it's not working out in your favor. And I'm going to allow myself, because you're ready for love. I feel like you're giving one message to the universe. I'm ready for love, but yet I have this wall built around me. And I feel like when you're able to set yourself free from that, boom, here is the next chapter. Boom. I feel like this is where you're going to find probably your real love. But let's keep going. Oh, we have more cards. Oh, no, those are your old cards. So let's follow that. And the Magician teaches the Fool that you have everything you need. You possess everything you need to be successful on this next journey. It lies within. And how did I gain all that? Through my experiences and the overcoming of them. Only makes me more powerful. But anyways, love. So tell us more. We have the Queen of Pentacles. We have the Moon. Card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. Dreamy type energy. Makes me wonder if there's someone that that divine is going to put within your dreams. Look at this. The Marriage card. Jamie. Commitment, love. It is my favorite love card because it talks about two people who make a commitment to each other for the rest of their lives, through sickness, through everything. I don't know why I just said sickness. But it is through everything. And here's another thing I want to say. I feel like what this is also speaking about is the type of person. And I feel like it's a type of person that will make you feel like I feel like you'll have butterflies and it's like you're floating. I have a feeling you haven't experienced love like this yet. Doesn't mean you haven't experienced love, but there are different levels to love. We have the 3 of Cups, and then we have the 4 of Pentacles. This person may be right in your own hometown. I'm not telling you, like, if you say, like, my heart belongs to Chris and only Chris, well, that's kind of what you're telling the universe too. And that is your right. You know what I mean? Like, you have a right to chase whatever you want to chase. But I feel like your guides are saying, but my dear, you don't understand. Like, you haven't been in this type of love yet. And this is a type of love where I feel it's very spiritual. And not do I only feel it's spiritual, I feel I definitely feel like this is soulmate energy. Definitely feel like soulmate energy. And who knows, maybe, I don't know, maybe Chris was there to teach you some things. You know what I mean? Because there's no swords, where before we had almost all swords plus the tower. Now we only have beauty. And the moon coming right before that 4 of Wands, almost like saying, I can't give you an exact date because the moon can talk about uncertainty. But in the same breath, I feel like that I just got to trust here. I just got to trust. I got to tell the universe, I am ready for love. I got to make it clear. I got to get rid of any of those self-created prisons. And I've got to be the love that I want to come back to me. It means my vibration is important. It's, just as important as who's going to come back to you. And with the magician's energy and the ability to manifest this year, and I am talking this year, I feel like, I just feel like, I feel like, I don't know. I feel like at the year's end, like, you're going to write me an email. You're going to be like, Sandy, you're just not going to believe who I met. You're just not going to believe it. And I'm going to believe it. Okay. So I wanted to give you both sides of the coin there. All right. And I know that was a little difficult. I have a feeling it might have been a little difficult to hear, Jamie. But listen, I want you guys to pay attention to your own intuition, even over mine, over anyone's. You know what I mean? Like, what you feel is what you feel, but then be able to break it down. Like, why am I? It's funny because when I kept getting, for those who are just new in the room, when I was having my coffee this morning, I just kept getting the word no contact, no contact. And so I said in my head to my guides, like, are you telling me to do a no contact reading? And that's exactly what they were telling me to do. Why am I bringing this up? Why am I bringing this up? I don't know. I just forgot why I was bringing it up. HTTPS call you PON. Messages from your spirit team, please. You got it. Let's use a different deck, though. I didn't bring all my decks out. I'm going to use the Luminous Tarot, PLN. So any messages from your spiritual team? Again, I'm using the Universal Tarot. No, I'm not. I'm using the Luminous Tarot. Okay. You have the Knight of Swords. He looks like he's coming in fast and furious. Usually the Knight of Swords is not like the fastest moving knight, but in this deck, man, he is like fast moving. It could be messages that are coming to you like left and right. And you know, maybe you're not picking up on all of them. Maybe that's exactly why you're here. We have the Nine of Cups. And then we have the King of Pentacles. So King of Pentacles can be Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Male or female, doesn't even really matter. You know, it makes me feel like with this Nine of Cups in between the Knight of Swords and this King, and here I am in the Nine of Cups, like loving my life, right? It's inner harmony. And I feel like there's a reason, like there's something that's coming towards you that is going to make you feel that way. And I feel like potentially it's coming through this King. So it could be some type of an opportunity. But let me tell you how the King looks at life. He looks at the big picture down. So I don't know if that, you know, that may be a message for you also. Like when you look at a situation, look at the big picture of it, relating to like anything that comes your way. But I feel like there's something coming quickly. So let's keep going. Judgment. So quickly, Judgment, that's your spiritual team. And they're calling you to the present moment because there's about to be a rebirth if you allow it. Sometimes we don't have a choice. You know what I mean? Sometimes like that tower doesn't really give us a choice. Now, I don't feel the tower for you. That's not what I, you know, that was just relating back. But it does speak about a rebirth. And it feels like it's coming through some type of communication. If nothing else, it's of truth. Otherwise, your spiritual team wouldn't want you involved with it. Oh, my screen just went really dark. We have the Five of Pentacles. I'll hold that up till my screen goes light again. Dang it. All right. And then, interesting, we have two kings. King of Pentacles, King of Wands. The first thing I feel is your soul. And I feel like you're a very kind soul. Now, that doesn't mean like, you know, constantly giving, but I feel like you are a very giving soul. I feel like you are someone who can bounce back from, you know, things that may happen that were outside your control. I do feel like you can bounce back, and there may have been something that happened outside of your control. But then you have the King of Wands looking in, and he's looking right at his wand, and what he's looking at is the new growth upon that wand. So I feel like whatever, you know, it's almost like something was eclipsed out, and I may not have had like a lot of say so, But honestly, I feel like it was eclipsed out so that you can, I feel like, live a better life. Or maybe even like have a dream come true type of energy. But let's go right underneath because I definitely want to look at oh, um, judgment a little closer. Okay, so the Four of Cups. Interesting. That ties us back to the Four of Cups right there. That did follow a tower. But listen, I feel like this is, your spiritual team is pointing this out first and foremost. So this is about potentially discontentment or boredom in one's life, but it's also about a cup that's coming in, and it is asking you to use your spiritual discernment relating to whether you say yay or nay to it. But your spiritual team's going to help you with that. And then the Page of Wands, my fool, my risk taker, my show me the opportunity, and I'm at least going to try. Even after difficulty, I'm still going to take a chance. So I feel like you are taking a chance with this cup that your spiritual team is bringing in, and that just means it's meant to come in. That's how I look at it, or you're ready for it. And I feel like this is definitely talking about new growth. Let's take one right under these two kings. We have the Hierophant of the light. Does feel like it's a change though, because it's a 5. You have 2 5s here. It could be potentially 2 changes coming your way. But I feel like all of them would be good. I feel like the days of, let's just say, discomfort, whatever that may mean for you, I feel like are coming to an end. And I feel like this cup is coming your way. And maybe that's why I said with the King of Pentacles, I'm going to look at the big picture. And maybe the Queen of Pentacles is someone who's going to pick it apart. But we don't have the Queen, we have the King. And then I feel like this King is the King of action. And that's what he's thinking about. And that's what he's looking at, mirrored by your spiritual team. So there's new growth. There's a cup coming in. And I definitely feel like you're saying yes to it. And I feel like this cup is of the light. Now, we do have the Hierophant mirroring the King of Pentacles. So it could certainly represent Taurus. But other than that, I feel like it's speaking about the light. I feel like really what it's speaking about is living a life of morals, like living within my morals. You know what I mean? Like it's like I feel like I'm no longer interested living in, living with or around or be with people who, you know, uh, aren't interested in, don't think about their fellow man type of energy. I feel like there's a lot of empathy within you. And I feel like, I don't want to say that's why you're receiving this cup. Because I feel like this cup is just meant to come in. And again, it's a cup of fulfillment, whatever that may be for you, but it is coming of the light. Now, if this is speaking about love, it tells me that it would be two people who have pretty equal morals. You know what I mean? Like we have, like, let's say like I'm someone who really does care about my fellow man. And then I hook up with someone who is like, all they care about is themselves. Well, you and I can't be. You know what I mean? Because we just don't fit. We just don't fit. Now, I don't know why I brought that up. Maybe that was someone of the old. Um, but you got some new growth coming your way. And I feel like it's just going to expand your world. I feel like it's going to give you a reason to like look at your life and really be thankful for it. Um, and listen, it is after the fact, it is after the towers. So I feel proud of you, like that you didn't let these towers take you down. Doesn't mean I didn't for a moment, but I really feel like you're someone who's learned, like, I'm not going to let these towers take me down any longer. And I feel like, and therefore, it's like I am telling the universe, therefore, I am ready for this change. And there may be two changes coming your way, But I do want to say they're all of the light. Like there's nothing for you to fear. The only thing you want to fear is if you don't use your spiritual discernment, because that's what your spiritual team wants you to do. You may be receiving some epiphanies, some ideas to do something, and I feel like follow that. Like whatever this night is bringing in, and again, it's some type of communication, but it could also be spiritual communication. I feel like follow it home. Okay, I hope that helped. I have to say, when I do like a lot of your readings, like I just love you guys. Like I can feel your souls. It doesn't mean any of us are perfect, because there's no one who's perfect. So sometimes you got to forgive yourself for what you think. And this isn't about anyone in general, but I feel like, sometimes we do have to learn to forgive ourselves. You're welcome, GR, by the way. Hi, Candy. Bella. I just love saying that name, Bella. Real quick, I want to read Jamie's comments. My goodness, Andy, I've been on the fence about Mike. He is currently sick and lives 5 minutes from me. You said that in my reading. You're an angel. Oh, thank you. It's just what you needed to hear. Yeah. Oh, good. And then PLN, you can call me Camille. It's my actual name. Okay, I'll try to remember that. But I have to tell you, I probably won't. At least, the more I see you, and I've seen you a couple times, but the more I see you, just keep reminding me and I'll remember, I promise. Okay, so Bella. Who is my divine partner and when will we meet? I'm a Sag Sun, Sag Rising, Taurus Moon, Venus in Scorpio. Love in Scorpio. Scorpio. Very sensual sign. Which can make one very sensitive at the same time. But I do feel that with Scorpio, in their love house, they're very sensual. And they need that back. All right. Bella. All right. We have the High Priestess, your intuition, your higher self. And a lot of times I feel like when the High Priestess comes out, it is your higher self talking to you. But I also have to say it makes me feel good. Oh, it makes me feel good because I feel like what it's saying also is as love enters into your life, trust your intuition. And I feel like you're able to trust your intuition. Look at this, the Ace of Pentacles. Now, I'll tell you why I love seeing the Ace of Pentacles in a love reading. Because to me, the Ace of Pentacles means it's coming into my physical world. This isn't about a feeling. This is something that's literally coming into your physical world. Okay, well, what's that? 5 of Wands. Okay. Look at this, the Knight of Cup, an unexpected cup of fulfillment, right under the High Priestess. I just want to say, Bella, as it relates to your energy, how can I best serve myself? I don't know if that's the right way of saying it. I feel like there's just a small little message of being careful not to get pulled into other people's dramas. Or another way of saying it if someone comes along and they're drama filled, they're not your person. Because I do feel like, I don't feel like you like drama. Um, and I feel like, and I also feel like there may be a need to put something behind you, like maybe I really wanted an apology from someone or a recognition from someone. Again, it can go the whole way back to your parents, and maybe I didn't get that, but I feel like, don't blame yourself over that. Like, don't blame yourself. Anyway, we have the Strength card, Leo. And then look at this with the Knight of Swords again. Coming in. Look how fast he's coming in. 8. That's this year. 5. That's a change. I'm not going to be, I don't want to say it's a Leo because I don't want you to then, let's say a Capricorn comes along and like they're the perfect person for you, but you're like, oh, wait a minute, you're not a Leo. So that's why I don't necessarily give signs. But what I feel like, because the Strength card showed up following this Knight of Cups, and it's got the Ace of Pentacles. So, not only is this Knight of Cups saying, I'm bringing an unexpected couple fulfillment your way, it's showing us being delivered. Now, it may come through communication first, but I want to go right underneath that because I want to know a little bit more about a couple of these cards. All right, well, we have the 5 of Cups. We have the Hierophant, card of Taurus. And then we have the Moon, card of Pisces, ruler of Cancer. But now forget all that. Okay. So, first, I love that the Ace of Pentacles is mirroring the Hierophant. That tells me this ace is coming in the light. That tells me this, like we're speaking about love here. So it tells me that this person, let's just say your true love, the person that I do feel like you'll probably spend the rest of your life with, especially if they're coming in the light, which to me means that they have spiritual clarity, that they're someone who, is not self-serving, so to speak. Someone who, like in love, would put the other person first, would build that person up, not put them down. And maybe that's important that I say that to you, because maybe you're used to people putting you down, but this person's like going to build you up. And how different that is when we haven't had that. You know what I mean? And maybe you haven't had that. I do feel, again, very dreamy. I'm not going to say this person's perfect, but neither are we. I do feel like there's things that your potential future lover, how to overcome, like within themselves. I want to take, we got the Emperor, 7 of Pentacles, the 2 of Swords. I'm going to take one more after that, the 3 of Cups. Okay, so now we have the Emperor is Aries, but I feel like this is telling us what type of person's coming into your life. So when I think of the Emperor, I think of someone I can look up to. I think of someone who has lived life and has learned from life. Not someone who is like, damn life, you just keep throwing me tower after tower, like grouchy. I don't feel that at all. I feel like this person may be a little bit older than you, but I feel like wise. I feel like the person is wise. And I also feel that they would be pretty secure within their finances, which, may not seem important, but I kind of feel it is important. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, this is not someone who's going to come in where I have to financially take care of them. They can take care of themselves and probably take care of everyone. And then you have the Seven of Pentacles right next to us. So again, it feels like what is meant to be. But it is the energy of patience, right? Patience for the right person to come in. Though I do feel like it's this year. Otherwise I don't feel like I'd be doing this reading, because why would I project like you got to wait 10 years for the love of your life? I feel like you would be here and I'm here on purpose. So I like everything about this person. It could be someone you know. I'm not going to say someone you were in a love relationship with, because I don't think that. I'm just thinking, is there anything else I can get from this? I guess the best thing I could tell you here is keep your intentions bright, keep your intentions light. The one thing we always want to remember, like if we want the highest vibrational love, then we got to think about where our vibration is at. And I'm not necessarily saying that to you, Bella. I'm kind of just saying it to the room. But it is true. That is the law of attraction, right? Like I want $10 million, but I'm not willing to do a damn thing to earn it. Well, chances are I'm not going to get that 10 million, right? I mean, I'd say to God all the time, give me $1 million and you have my word that I will help the world. And I would help the world. I would help the world. And I don't know why I'm bringing that up. Maybe that's how this person is. I feel like definitely trust your intuition. And because I do feel like you probably have had a hard time in love before, that's why your intuition, it's really, we've got to learn to trust our intuition. It is our guiding light, and it will warn us. Think of a big energetic field, and anything comes into your field that is of lower vibration, the alarm system will go off. Those are those red flags. Now we can ignore those red flags, or we can see them for exactly what they are, and then we can eliminate, right? Instead of spending 10 years with the wrong person. And again, Bella, I'm not really speaking to you in that. I'm speaking to the room, though I am using your reading to express that. But for you, I feel like just be ready, my dear. Be ready, because I feel like everything about this person, now they're not perfect, but I feel like everything about this person, I almost feel like I want to say, like, I am proud to be with them. And I'm sure those words will be said back to you also. Okay, I'm going to let that be. I can notice the readings are getting longer and longer. But I do feel like I have to give them whatever time they need. And I know that means patience. All right, I hope that helped, Bella. All right, so let me go back. Erica, hi Erica, a general. Okay, let's change up decks. Let's bring in the Tarot of Dreams. By the way, guys, chat replay is on. So, sometimes you receive messages, or hopefully you watch this reading and you're like, I'm not sure if it's for me. And then you go back and you watch it again. Or let's say things start changing in your life and you recall parts of a reading, go back and watch it again, because I'm telling you, it's like a different perspective. Will give you different answers. And I'm not trying to push my videos, I promise. You know, I feel like if you want to watch my video, you'll watch my video. And so much gratitude for that, by the way. All right. Erica's like, be quiet and just get to my reading. All right, so Erica, you wanted a general, right? Yep, general for Erica. General for Erica. We have the Knight of Wands. Look at this. The Knight of Swords, 2 knights. The Empress, beautiful. I say beautiful because I love when the Empress comes out. And the reason why I love when the Empress comes out, because it's giving me a clue about where your vibration is at. And because I feel like in the Empress's energy, like I've learned a lot through my life. I've learned through my experiences. I've learned not to become hard and cold. That's not going to get me anywhere. And I've learned to keep my heart open, but I've really learned to trust my intuition. That's the main thing. Again, that energetic field. So, you know, and she's very bountiful. Like I'm noticing that with her right now. She's very bountiful and she's holding this spiritual baby. The 9 of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords. That ace is coming out a lot. Different decks. The 2 of Wands, the Tower, the Hermit, looking right over at that tower, the Queen of Pentacles, and then the Devil. Card of Capricorn. It's funny how I said Capricorn earlier, and then Capricorn shows up. Okay, so let me just look at this real quick. Let me separate it a little bit. You know, Erica, I feel like there was a period in your life where you felt stuck, where you felt, I feel like there was, what's the word? Like illusions that you were stuck, but you weren't stuck. You just felt stuck. I do feel like you set yourself free from like lower temptation type energy. And I feel like that's relating back to the tower. And I'm saying that because the hermit is reflecting on this tower. So I am learning from it. And by the way, again, another energy of if I have any type of business or you know, my work in the world has anything to do with my spirituality, well, I feel like success, success, success. But it's also about becoming independent, you know, and this is a lesson I try to teach my daughter all the time. Like, you know, when you're independent or you can take care of yourself, you're different as it relates to love because now I know I can take care of myself. And because I can take care of myself, I look at people differently. You know what I mean? Like I'm not looking for someone to come in and take care of me. I'm looking for someone to come in and love me. I can take care of me. And I feel like you are very spiritual. And I kind of feel like it does feel like you almost had to go through the dark night of the soul to really find yourself. But I do feel like you did find yourself. I feel like you have a specialty. And one of your specialties is, you know, I'm thinking of the Queen of Pentacles, and it's like reading between the lines. You may be psychic, very intuitive, and I don't know, maybe you don't trust all your messages, but I feel because I feel like you receive like spiritual and spiritual what's the word epiphanies, and I feel like you can put them to work for you in a way. You're working, but they feel like, you know, it just feels right, I guess is the word I'm trying to say. I feel like the days of the towers, the heaviness of the towers are behind you. And does that mean that you'll never have a tower? It means that the towers won't affect you the way that they used to. You know, I feel like in the beginning, towers like feel like they destroy our lives. And then as we start to reflect over and and more towers come and reflect, we start to learn like, okay, maybe I could have avoided that tower, or like, I'm not going to let these towers cause me fear because I have so much wisdom. I can walk through them now. It's never a good idea to ignore them because I need to know why. Why did it show? Now, I feel like that is where you've been. And then all these knights are coming in. And then these knights are bringing the Two of Wands. So it's like walking down a path. I want to look at a couple things. I'm going to look at the Two of Wands with the Ace of Swords next to it to give us a better understanding of where this may be taking you, if you so choose. And by the way, the Knight of Swords can talk about communications coming in. The Knight of Wands would mean it's fast moving, that it's coming sooner versus later. But it's passionate. So it's nothing you have to fear. I feel like quite the opposite. All right, what do we got down here? So I wanted to look at this Two of Wands. We have the Palace of Swords. I feel like if you use your voice in any way, because I do feel like you're receiving epiphanies. And then if you're speaking them, writing them, whatever you do with them, I feel like it's almost like we are your spiritual babies. Interesting. We have the Nine of Wands, and then we have the Page of Pentacles. Okay, so I feel like that's what it's talking about with these previous towers, that any towers that you've had in your life that you have overcome, you have reflected upon them, and you've like, I feel like you're learning more and more spiritually. I feel like there's always something new that, I shouldn't say always something new that's opening up, but it does feel like it just, something feels like the right time. And, Erica, I feel like you know yourself. You know yourself. And I feel a power within you. And I don't mean like power over the people type of thing. No, I feel like this inner power within you, almost like you're a natural healer. And I can't help it. It's just who I am type of energy. Like I just, like my energy naturally helps calm other people's energy. So I don't know if you're doing anything in that field, but man, I feel like if you are, or considering it, I feel like success, success, success. For who? For you. This is about you, the Nine of Pentacles. It's your hard work and it's your rewards. The Nine of Pentacles, in the Psychic Tarot, it talks about material harvest. But we can't have a material harvest unless we plant the seeds to start with way back. Well, I feel like you've already done that. And I feel like now you're going to start seeing like the fruits of your labor. And I feel your spirituality is off the charts. I feel like you're on the right path. I definitely feel you're on the right path. And I feel like whatever opens up to you, it just feels of glory. And I feel like you just trust your intuition. Like, trust your intuition, because I don't feel like anything negative is coming towards you. It all feels very positive. Okay, I'm going to let that be. Dun, dun, dun. I am probably the slowest reader on YouTube. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. All right. Empress. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. I am wondering if I will ever find the special person for me who I can have a family with. I feel stuck in my life. I am from November 2787. Need guidance. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, 11. So 11. So you are in, I believe, if I'm doing my math correctly, you have a personal year 1 this year, if I'm doing my math correctly. That's a good thing. Think of the magician, the manifester, the great teacher. All right. All right. So I'm wondering if I'll ever find that special person for me who I can have a family with. I feel stuck in my life, and you are November 27th. Need guidance. That would make you Sagittarius, I believe. But that doesn't matter. Another deck. Let's bring out the light seers. The light seers. And this is for Empress. If I'm saying it right. All right. You're wondering if you'll ever find that special person. When is divine sending you, or when are the two of you meeting along this path? Feel stuck in your life. It's almost like the 4 of Cups. Discontentment, boredom in one's life. Wanting a change. All right. So, as it relates to love, when is this special person coming in for her that she can have a family with? Emperor's back out again. That is the father figure, by the way. The Emperor. So, could that be the future father of your children? Look at this. We have the Wheel, Destiny. We have the Page of Wands. Oh my gosh. I feel like this is the future father of your children. We have the 6 of Wands. Hello, lovers. Right on the wheel. Right on the wheel. And then we have the King of Pentacles. You know what I feel? I feel for some people, and I know this has been my life, I feel like our true love. Now, I'm sure you've had love in your life. And there are different types of love and different levels of love. And I'm talking romantic love. There just are, right? There is soulmate love. And when you find a soulmate, you know the difference. You feel the difference. There, of course, are twin flames. Though I don't search for a twin. That'll just happen. And then there's karmic. There's all kinds of love. And then I feel like there's people that we've loved that maybe, weren't quite ready for love or what have you, or we weren't ready for love. But we have the Lovers right on your wheel. I feel like we have your future father of your children right on the table. I almost feel like the Page of Wands is going to be your child. Interesting. I'm going to go a little deeper though. We have the Three of Pentacles. We have the Four of Pentacles. Interesting. Okay, let's break these apart a little bit. So, I feel like what I felt in somebody else's reading, I feel like the future father of your children may be in the very town that you live. And maybe even, it could be even like what you do for a living, like someone admiring what you do, like who you are. I definitely feel like there is soul recognition here. I definitely feel like we're talking about soulmates. No doubt. I have no doubt in my mind about that. And I do feel like for some of us, like, like, okay, you want a family. And I feel like, well, here is the beginning of your family. And I don't feel like this person is far. Interesting. And I feel like you may be introduced to this person through another. And here's why. Because I feel like someone is going to, like, I don't know if it's a friend or someone I work with, but I feel like when I think about you, it makes me think about the other person, that my friend that I know. And man, I think they'd make a perfect couple. So I wouldn't be surprised if you're going to be introduced to this person. Now, as the Emperor goes, could be someone a little bit older. You know what I mean? Doesn't have to be, but definitely someone who's wise. Definitely someone who's got their shit together. Doesn't mean they're perfect. Um, I feel like this is someone where I don't feel like they could handle someone who is like all chaotic. I feel like if someone is chaotic around them, that would drive them nuts. So I don't know why I'm saying that. But I feel like, well, when, look at this, the 10 of Cups. Wow. How clear is your reading? I mean, what sits on the wheel? Which is your destiny? The Lovers, and then the 10 of Cups. You have victorious energy here, but I feel like this is like knowing oneself, being proud of oneself, knowing your own value. I think it's important that we know our own value. And I don't mean that in an egotistical way, just, hey, I'm God's child and I deserve, you know, I deserve great love. And I feel like that's exactly what you're going to have. And I do, again, feel like this person is somewhere around you, because I feel like they're connected to another, like whether it be a friend or workmate, somehow, some way, I feel like someone is going to help the two of you become introduced to each other. And then I have a feeling from there, well, I feel like divine just takes over. So it's interesting how you said a family, and then the first card is the father figure. Not only that, but look how we go from the Lovers to the 10 of Cups. You're ready for love. Those were your words. I'm ready for love. And I feel like the universe has heard you. Now, I'm saying you're going to be introduced to each other, and I do feel that. But again, I don't want you to think that's the only way this can happen, but I kind of do feel that. I don't kind of do feel that. I do feel that. And I feel like there is like this is someone that I can depend on. And I don't mean that as in like depend on for my money. I mean just someone I know. Let me put it a different way. I feel like, because like with Sam and I feel like this is the first time in my life where he could leave the house, I could leave the house and not worry at all, not even a little bit, that something sneaky was going on. And I feel like it's the first time in my life where I could completely let go and love. And that's kind of what I'm feeling for you. So it feels quite beautiful. And I know the feeling, but I know how long it took me to get here also. Now, I'm not saying it's going to take you that long, and it's interesting because every time I bring up Sam and I feel like there's something within my story that relates back to your story. I dated Sam when I was a teenager. Anyway, I kind of feel like you can just let go of control. And of course, let the universe know that you're ready for love, and then be of that energy. And I feel like just the law of attraction alone will bring you back the right person. But I feel like there is someone special that already feels predestined. It's just the right time, right? Like if it's predestined, it's not going to come in before the right time. Okay, I'm going to let that be, but that felt quite beautiful. Even though I know right now you're not quite sitting in that energy. Um, but why can't you have the best love? You can. You can. All right. I hope that helps. Christina Smith. Yeah, today I'm just doing donations. I very seldom do that. Um, just when I do an actual reading, but then I'm hoping tomorrow. I don't want to I want to make. I'm saying tomorrow around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I think I'm going to go live where we'll just answer, no spread. We'll just answer questions, question and answer time. All right. Layla. Makes me wonder if your parents were into Eric Clapton. Oh, thank you. You've been listening to me for years. Love your reading. Virgo with Scorpio and Aries. Just checking to see if you also have a question, Layla. I'm just going to look up, see, maybe you already put it up there. No. All right, so I'll come back for you, Layla. Zenab. Am I getting any better at your name yet? I'm trying. So Layla, if you have a question, go ahead and type it and I will come back and answer that. But let's go ahead and do Zenab for right this moment. What's coming towards you in love? Let's stay with the light seers. 5 of Pentacles on the bottom. Could have potentially been some type of tower moment. But let's look. What is, or who's coming towards Zenab in love? And when? Approximately when? What can we know? We'll take it all, whatever we can know. All right. 3 Pentacles. going to say could signify March. We're in March, though. Holy crap, we're already in March. Judgment, your spiritual team, present moment energy. Look how our spiritual self is connecting to above. You know, we're connected by that silver, what do I want to call it, a thread. You know, that silver string keeps us connected to our spiritual self, connected to the body. But it's almost like astro traveling at night. I don't know why I'm picking all this up. Queen of Cups, look at her. She's also connecting. She's got this key around her neck. And I feel like that key belongs to a special person. We have the Two Pentacles. King of Swords. Could be a Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Certainly doesn't have to be. But as if we're talking love, interesting because we have water and we have air. But this king, if you just look at the image, like this king has reached a mountaintop. That means he's overcome something. That means he doesn't give up. He literally has reached that mountaintop and now is taking a moment out just to enjoy it, but knows that there's more mountains to conquer. But I feel like he has conquered at least one of them. That makes me feel like whoever this person is, they have the ability to do that. You know, the understanding that there's more than one mountain that I need to climb in my life. We have the Four of Cups. I feel like that's you right now. We have the Knight of Wands. So let's talk about the Four of Cups because it is coming under your spiritual team. Four of Cups is about, well, we have it right up here. Can be discontentment, boredom in one's life, but it really is about using your spiritual discernment. But the person, again, in the Four of Cups is receiving a cup. They're just uncertain whether they should take it or not. And that's why Spirit is saying, you know, you were born with this spiritual discernment. It is part of your gifts. Use that. Trust that. I feel like whoever is coming in, first of all, I feel like you already have the key to unlock that door. And it may be energetically that I'm speaking. And then I also feel like making sure that like you're making your intentions clear on what it is that you would like to see in your life. Again, I'm not saying that I want someone's got blonde hair and blue eyes and is of this age. No, I want someone who is, well, first of all, it's going to be someone who is on the same vibration. And if it is of lower vibration, you should be able to pick that up very easily. You know, the universe wants to send you a little test, but I don't really think that. Because I feel like you've had those tests and, you know, maybe you had to take one or two over again, but I feel ultimately you passed them. Hello, Ten of Cups. The Nine of Swords. Okay. This is probably what I meant about making sure that our energy is ready for what it is that we truly want in our life. Because in the Nine of Swords, I'm putting a lot of worry around love. I'm over worrying. I'm overthinking. And I feel like what this is saying is you have to find a way just to relax and trust within your spiritual team that, you know, when the timing is right, the right person will come into your life. And I also want to say, you know, you are given that option of yay or nay. It's not that someone comes in, you have to accept that. But listen, we're talking about love coming into your life. And then we see the Ten of Cups. So to me, it's like that's the house of love. It's the house of harmony, but it's also the house of passion. And maybe it is this king over here. But again, I don't want you to think just air. I want you to think about that person. This means this is someone who has learned that it's better to tell the truth than tell a lie. This is someone who has integrity. This is probably someone who's a great communicator. You may find yourself having long, deep conversations. This is definitely someone who will recognize your soul and theirs. Wait, you'll recognize theirs, they'll recognize yours. Not just recognize it, let me put it a different way. They'll appreciate who you are. Now, again, it doesn't mean you're perfect. We have to know that. Nobody is perfect. But it doesn't mean it can't be the perfect person for you. The only thing that has me a little leery is the Four of Cups connected to the Nine of Swords. Now, that's energetic. So that's a good thing. That means that I can clear up this energy. Nine of Swords, it does belong to you. And it does mean I could be overthinking or over worrying. Of course, I want it now, right? But this, I feel like I've got to like let go of that and instead put my trust in divine. It's another, and again, it's making me want to remind everyone that we are spiritual beings having human experiences. And when we look at life that way, then that Nine of Swords doesn't really need to be there because we understand that any experiences we have, they're either going to teach us something or we're going to teach another or we're teaching together. And some of them are hard lessons, but it means that our soul knew that I could overcome it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have planted that seed. So I feel that for you. I feel this is like, again, if I think of the law of attraction, I want what I want, right? But in a way, am I not showing the universe the opposite? Now, I'm not saying you're full of worry, but I do want you to at least reflect upon that because everything else is quite beautiful. And it is showing that your spiritual team is part of this love. To me, that just means it's definitely a love that I would want. But maybe I want it now. And maybe judgment is saying, it's coming. It's coming. It's coming, but it's coming in divine timing. And again, the ball will be put in your court. Another reason why I want to look at that Nine of Swords, because that Nine of Swords would probably make me say no. And it wouldn't be because of the person, it'd be because I'd be too fearful to move into it. So examine that. Use your spiritual discernment as love starts moving towards you, and it's going to. And ultimately, it's saying that you have the potential of landing in the Ten of Cups, the house of love, the house of harmony, laughter, joy. Doesn't say there won't be any, it's all roses, and butterflies. No, there may be ebbs and flows because that's life. But in this house, we work it out together. Okay, I'm going to let that be. All right. I hope you guys watched the reading because I feel like there's a lot of answers in this reading. Let me grab a drink real quick. Ah. Okay. Bella, 2024 is your year. Yes, it is. And you're very welcome. Erica, wow, thank you so much. You hit it right on the point. You got chills. Good. If you get chills, then there's no denying. That's what I feel. I feel like if you get angel bumps, then it's your spiritual team putting those angel bumps on you or giving them to you. So that makes me happy because it gives me confirmation also. Not that I don't trust myself. I do trust myself. I trust my intuition and I trust my guides and I trust your guides. But I'm still human. And I love getting just let me know that I'm on the right path. Layla, I'm still waiting for Layla. Unless it was just a thank you. But either way, I'm still gonna look for a question, Layla, if you have one. But I'm gonna I want to read. I think I know the King of Coins. Well, the problem is with the King of Coins. Thank you very much. You're very welcome. Oh, I'm sorry, Zainab. I picked them up. But you can watch the chat replay. And I'm trying to think, where are we? Oh, it's not showing me a time. Well, it's 4:39 where I'm at, so it'd be, within a couple minutes of that. GR. I didn't know Ray was in a relationship, Sandy. Okay. I feel like you want me to question that, so I'm going to. Let's use the Gilded Tarot. I don't know if it necessarily said that he was in a relationship. I remember saying that it felt like if he reached out, like it felt like some type of deception. So maybe that's where you're feeling that. But let's just ask that question. Is Ray in another relationship? Is Ray connected to another? I'm probably going to be on for like another half an hour, guys. I mean, how lucky am I? The guy, Sam, my boyfriend, he's Italian. He's 100% Italian and he loves to cook. And I'm telling you, I'm getting fat because of him. But I love that he loves to cook because I don't like to cook. And he cooks all of our meals. I've never asked him to. He just does it and he does it with love. He's making us meatloaf tonight. So I feel like, that's a lot of effort. And I don't want him to wait for me. So that's why I'm going to say like another 20 minutes to a half an hour. All right. We have the Five of Cups, so GR. Interesting, the Five of Cups and the Five of Swords together. I get the feeling, GR, that let's say Ray's not in a relationship. I feel like there's something going on with his energy. And it doesn't feel like of the utmost, if that makes sense. We have the King of Pentacles. We have the Ace of Swords. You got that in the other one. I believe you did. The Three of Wands. The Nine of Wands. The Star. And then hello, Knight of Pentacles. Wow. Okay. Couple things I want to say to you, GR. The Star, it's for you. This Knight of Pentacles, it's for you. You know, when we're doing readings, even if we're asking about other people, certain energy is showing just for you. It doesn't always mean it includes that person. Now, maybe it does, but here's what I think's going on. You know, I apologize if I made it sound like absolutely Ray was in another relationship, but what I feel is there is something. There's something going on where I don't feel like his energy is, let's just put it this way. I feel like Ray's got to do a lot of reflecting. I feel like he's got to do, and I'm not putting him down because, you know, we all go through these stages. Well, I guess not everyone. But, you know, I feel like I need to reflect back on, you know, probably the people I've hurt, the things that I've done that maybe weren't of the highest. You know, I feel almost like, you know, like almost like if you're an alcoholic and you go to, you do like the 12 steps, right? I've got to recognize those that I've hurt. I've got to apologize, but first I have to know it. First, I have to know it. And again, I feel this energy of you. So, you know, you're connected no matter what. But again, it doesn't mean that you should sit and wait, especially if anyone else comes into your life. Because I feel like if Ray doesn't do this reflection, then I feel his energy will be toxic to your energy. Or another way of saying that is you would have to lower your vibration to meet his. And I never think we should do that. I think it should be the opposite. If you want to be with me, then raise your vibration. Know what you're doing that is not good. You know, if you're hurting people or if you're hurting me through words or whatever, know it, own it, accountability, all that. Now, the Star, which is about your hopes, your dreams, and wishes, is mirroring the Ace of Swords. And underneath this whole thing is the Knight of Pentacles. That slow moving knight, right? But that knight that we can count on. Now, I'm saying this is for you because I'm not going to say that Ray is necessarily what your guardian angels would like to introduce you to, so to speak. It's weird I said introduce you to. You know, it's interesting too, when I start rubbing my legs, I know you can't see it. Sometimes you can see me, but like when I start rubbing my legs, I'm connecting. But anyways, I feel like, bottom line is, I feel like Ray's got reflection to do. It's like work, right? It's the work we need to do on ourselves. And some people are willing to do it and some people aren't. Sometimes it's just a realization of how we affect other people, where I put myself first in an egotistical type of way. And I feel like until that happens, I don't feel like your guides feel like he's good for you. Now, if that does happen, that's a different story. But the Star is here for you. So that's what I'm feeling with him right now. And I almost feel like your spiritual team is not gonna, it's almost like they're gonna block anything that, let's just say, let's say Ray comes towards you, but he hasn't cleared whatever this energy I feel has to be cleared, because I feel like if it's not, then it just lands on your lap, and that's not good. That would not work. So that's probably what I was speaking about in the other reading. I just feel like your spiritual team wants you to have, it's interesting. I'm going to use the word patience, though I feel like you have been patient, but I feel like what they're saying is patient for, well, first of all, I feel like it's being clear about who you want, how you want, or not who you want, but how you want love to be in your life. And because I feel like you are kind of clear, it does feel like your spiritual team is like, well, we're going to block anything that is of a lower vibration until or if they're willing to up their vibration. And I'm using the word vibration a lot. What does that mean? It means that I'm not self-serving any longer. It means I care about my fellow man. It means that I've learned to love myself. And by loving myself, that means that, yes, I do expect only the best. And why wouldn't I? You know what I mean? So my vibration is everything. My vibration is everything. And if I keep my vibration or my view of life with it, through an optimistic lens, well, we are the manifestors. We are the creators of our life. Yes, God created us, but gave us the ability to plant seeds to really live the type of life we want. And some of that is hard, but some of it was meant to be hard, so that when you overcome it, you can like look at yourself and be like, wow, look at me. Look at what I've overcome. And be proud of that. And then not go backwards. So, GR, I'm going to leave that there. I hope that clarified for you a little bit. I think it did. Hi, Jenny Love Tarot, my daughter. All right, I'm just reading GRs. It does make sense a lot. Absolutely makes sense, Sandy. I really appreciate the clarification. I will not lower my vibration. Good for you. I'll keep going no matter what. Perfect. All right. Lala. Let me go back up. Make sure. Lala. Layla. Hi. He is a Sag, just curious. Okay. I'm not sure. I think you just want to know if the Sag is, and I'm talking to Layla or Lala. I don't know if you go by Lala or Layla. Maybe there'd be a Y if it was Layla, huh? Let's stick with the Gilded Tarot for Layla. So, he's a Sag. And I feel like you're just curious of the two of you. We have the Ten of Swords. We have the Nine of Wands. I kind of like that coming after the Ten of Swords. And then we have the Star. I mean, the Star is your hopes, your dreams, your wishes. But I want to take a second, and even though this looks like difficult energy, and it is difficult energy, Ten of Swords is, to me, a repeat pattern of taking sword after sword after sword after sword. Now, this person, they are laying face down, so maybe I don't expect all these swords, but in a way, I feel like with the Nine of Wands next to it, that's reflection over. So I feel like maybe you're breaking a pattern. Or let me put it this way. If you feel like there's a pattern in your life of things that don't work out, then you do want to reflect upon that, because the more understanding you can have of oneself, I feel like in the Nine of Wands, what I'm really looking at is myself within love, because we're talking about love, but just life, really. And what this person realizes when they do this reflection is truly how powerful they have come. And it talks about not giving up. Now, yes, give up on those 10 swords, because that is a repeat pattern. But I feel like if I know that, if I know I'm capable of that, and if someone who's put these swords in my back comes back again, well, it's being very clear. So don't take anyone back that you've been in any type of repeat pattern with, and I'm not going to say that like, again, because, I've been in relationships where you break up and you get back together, and sometimes it's better. You know what I mean? But here, I'm feeling a little bit of the opposite. And I feel like the Star is the reward of you looking at your life, understanding repeat patterns, understanding, those who put swords in me, aren't worth the time and effort in my life any longer. This is opening you up to, I feel like a whole new world. And that's what the Nine of Wands really speaks about: new growth, final reflection, closing that door, and then new growth. But it's part of your dream system already. All right, let's go underneath that. Also card of Aquarius. I don't know if I said that, but I have to say she's looking right back at that Nine of Wands. So to me, that's an important energy. And I feel like we all have to go through that, or we should go through that. It's really knowing oneself. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Three of Wands. Well, that ends the Ten of Swords, because this is you looking at your future with an optimistic view. This is you saying to the universe, I know you'll bring my ships in their due time. This is about living in the present moment and learning to enjoy, those little things in life. And it really is about letting go of control of exactly how each ship must arrive, or what's in each ship. And that also tells me there's more than one ship. Now, not more than one ship as in love, but I mean like more than one blessing. Maybe they each arrive at their own time. But again, whatever these ships are carrying, it's part of your dreams. Okay. With that being said, well, hello, Knight of Cups. It's interesting because you asked me about a Sagittarius and the High Priestess, and then the Nine of Cups. we don't really have energy of Sagittarius. I mean, I guess we could say the Nine of Wands, but I feel that's more you. You know, I'm not going to say the Sagittarius isn't like, couldn't be like the one for you, but I get this feeling. It depends. It depends where this person lies. You know, it depends if you've already done this reflection and you're ready for this new growth. Because I feel like as soon as you're ready for this new growth, well, then the Knight of Cups shows, right? Unexpected couple fulfillment. And by the way, where do you land? In the Nine of Cups, fulfillment of wishes, right under the star. Could be singular in that energy, but that could be changing. So interesting. Okay, so Sagittarius. Well, let's take one right down the middle. We have the Five of Pentacles and Justice. Okay. I don't love that. I'm going to be honest. I don't love that. It just makes me a little leery. That's all. And I'll tell you why. And okay, let's put it this way. Because we have really everything that we have here, I feel like it's telling us the story. And so Sagittarius seems to be involved right now. And I'm not going to like eliminate Sagittarius, but when I was literally saying to my guides, like, okay, but nothing really came out about Sagittarius. So then I took more cards. I got the Five of Pentacles and Justice. So that makes me feel like I don't know that it would stand the test of time. Let's just put it that way. And I feel like there's someone else that you may not know of yet that may also be heading your direction. Now, I want you to use your own intuition, because let's say Sag is just a great person. And that may be the case. But when I asked about Sag, I got the Five of Pentacles and Justice. And Justice does talk about cutting of ties. And there's hardships that also are part of it, where this energy seems to flow. I feel like, Layla, the question you should ask yourself is, do you feel that Sagittarius could potentially put these swords in your back? If you feel, even if you have an inkling, but I want you to trust your intuition over this. So if you have an inkling, then I feel like there's your answer. Because you do have love coming in. And you do need to trust your intuition over it. And I feel like it brings like an inner satisfaction that maybe you didn't have before. And I feel like not only that, but it brings like, it opens your eyes even wider towards love. So Sagittarius, in right now on this table, it doesn't feel like long lasting. Or another way of saying it is, I feel like there could be potential issues. Now, can we work over those issues, through those issues? Doesn't feel like it. But we need to look at the light side of this, because again, this is saying that there is love coming in for you. It's unexpected. And you already know Sagittarius. So to me, another reason to roll out Sag. And I also feel like you have nothing to worry about. Like, I feel like the more you go with the flow, I feel like the more you see the blessings every day. But I'm going to let that be. It's very hard for me to tell someone that potentially know this isn't your person, because first of all, I want you to trust your own intuition. And I don't like to be the bearer of bad news. However, maybe if I could save you 10 years of, and I'm not necessarily saying you, Lala, but if I can save you years of heartache, then I thank God that I can do that. It's a family nickname. Oh, good. I'm just reading Layla. Again, I don't know if it's Lala or Layla. Probably Lala. But good. That makes me feel good. Okay. Any other question, guys? Any questions on the reading? I'm just reading Alice's comment. He ghosted me after I caught him with someone else. Then he married her. Meanwhile, he was seeing her. Well, we had back-to-back miscarriages. Oh, Alice, I'm so sorry. So sorry. But you know what? He'll probably do the same thing to the next person, and the next person, and the next person. And it sucks that you have to go through that, especially having back-to-back miscarriages. But I have a feeling, no, it's more than a feeling. And I know sometimes it's hard to hear it, but in a way, I'm glad he's out of your life, because it opens the door to someone who can truly love you the way you deserve to be loved. But I am sorry for the pain you're going through. Oh, Mindy, I was one of your first. I am going to, Alice, I'm going to answer your question because I feel like you really need it. I got to find you again, though. Where did you go? I just had you here. All right. And then you said, does he feel regret at least? This is for Alice, Ellis. Elise. Maybe it's Elise. All right. I don't know if you gave me a sign. No. Okay. I'm going to give him a cut. So we're looking to see if he at least regrets his actions. And I'm going to call you Elise. I think it's Elise. Um, I have a feeling he's a very selfish person. At least that's what my guides are making me feel, like he's selfish, like he's a selfish type of person. Um, doesn't mean he, can't be a good person here and good person there. But I feel like as it relates to what I want what I want when I want it type of thing. I feel like honestly you were saved from him, because I feel like if you would have spent the rest of your life with this person, I don't know. I feel like in a way you were saved from this person, and I feel like whoever he married, she better hang on to her hat, because I feel like he's going to do the same thing to her. But that aside, we have the world. We have the Four of Pentacles. Look at that person in the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles can certainly talk about the home, can talk about foundation, but can also talk about someone who thinks they're right all the time, like isn't open to hearing other people's ideas, like I'm right. I'm right. They're resistant to change if it involves them having to change. Let's put it that way. We have the Ten of Pentacles. We have the Hierophant. We have the Page of Pentacles, the Nine of Pentacles, the Two Swords, and the Four of Swords. Well, there's him married. This is what I want to say. First and foremost, I feel like he puts himself first. In all areas of life, but especially in love. I don't know. I just feel like you were saved. I do. I feel like you were saved, and I feel like I do feel like you cross his mind. And I do feel like regret. I don't know if regret is the word I would say. But I would say that he definitely thinks about it, like, what he has done. And it's interesting because I feel like there's a part of him that knows he was wrong, and then there's a part of him that doesn't care. And which one's going to win? Whichever one he feeds. Man, I just feel like well, let's take a card underneath that. Look at that, a 9 again, and the 4 of Swords. Okay, first of all, I feel like you're going to heal over this situation. Even though right now I know you are probably heartbroken, and I'm so sorry for that. But I feel like, as, let's just say, a spiritual teacher, I feel like, there will come a time when you will be thankful that you did not spend the rest of your life with this person. And here's why: because I feel like he's a natural cheater. And I mean that as in, does he regret his actions? I'm not so sure he regrets his actions. I feel like he's learning more and more about good and bad, so to speak. Like, okay, what I did was not good. You know what I mean? And then I also feel like, I feel like he's just going to cheat on his, I guess, now wife. Um, I don't feel like she's going to be living a life of glory. So, I know you want me to say yes, he regrets it dearly. But truth be told, I feel like he thinks more of himself than anyone. But healing for yourself is here. And I do feel like, I hope that your spiritual team and God helps you be able to put this behind you so that you can move into a more blessed life. Because right now, I feel like, in a way, like I see you just crying. I see you crying, and I just want to hold you, and I want to hug you, and I want to tell you that everything will be okay. It will be okay. And you are going to find someone who's going to, like, wouldn't even think, like, would never cheat on you. I feel like this one probably has cheated on everyone. And I don't see it stopping. That's the thing. I feel like it just will continue. So if I can look at this from a spiritual point of view, then even though it's sadness right now, I do feel like you are going to look back one day and be so thankful that you are in the life that you're going to be in versus what this life would have been. And I feel like you know that, like deep within yourself. It's just getting to that place again. All right. I hate to hear of any of you in pain. I do. I just do. All right, I'm just going through the comments, guys. Oh, Christina, you're new here. Did I do a reading for you yet? You may not still be here. Just jumping down. Yeah, Molly, I can do another one. Layla, past it, looking forward, right on. Oh, good. Oh, good. Yes, I have reflected, you're right on. I've learned a lot about myself. That makes me feel good. Molly Montgomery, yeah, you can feel free to ask a question. I'll stick around for a minute. Oh, Jen, you must be reading for someone. I'm like, what is she typing? All right, Molly, I don't know if you're still here. There you are. Okay, and then just whatever question you want, my dear. And while you're doing that, I am being called to the Tarot of Dreams. So I wait for your question. I'm going to give this a couple shuffles. Feels like one of these cards don't belong. Why is that? Look at that. It's like these two cards didn't want to fit. Three of Cups, the Magician, and the Lovers. Molly, that may be for you. I'm going to leave those out just in case. So, Molly, I'm just waiting. Okay, there it is. Today is an ex's birthday. I'm trying to walk the line of being a friend. Any words of wisdom? Close the door on him and move on. Ex's birthday. I'm trying to walk the line of being a friend. Interesting, because while you were typing your question, the Three Cups, the Magician, and the Lovers came out. The Four of Pentacles, the Page of Swords. It's almost like you wishing him a happy birthday. I don't know why I'm down so low. Let me go up a little bit. Give myself some room. The Five of Wands under the Lovers. You know, I get this feeling that if you have a hard time being his friend, because I have a feeling you have feelings, and if they're not coming back, I feel like that would be even harder. But I'm also wondering if you laid your cards on the table. You know what I mean? Like, you know, like were you, I'm just wondering if you spoke. I did wish him a happy birthday. He just said thanks. Not sure I should keep talking to him. Okay, the only way to invite him back in would you do a polyamorous relationship. Okay. The Empress, mirrored by the Magician. Powerful energy, Molly. And look at this, the Ten of Swords, and then the Nine of Wands. Okay, this is what I feel. Though I feel like there could be more cards that could come out, but this is what I'm feeling from here. I'm feeling if I've spoken my truth and it's not being met, then I feel like that's your answer. I do feel like you have feelings for him. But here's the thing. I don't know that that's the right person for you anyway. Now, why would I say that? Because I get this feeling that there's a lot of ego with him. And I don't necessarily mean that in a bad way, but it can turn that way. You know what I mean? Like where and maybe because it's his birthday, but I feel like I want the focus on me. Like I want the focus on me, but it could be his birthday, maybe why I'm picking that up. But I am picking that up. I feel like, you know, truth be told, I just don't feel like he's your guy. Like, I don't feel like he's your guy. I don't feel like he's your special person. Nine of Swords. And then the Sun. Interesting. Okay. Here's what I want you to think about. I feel like as it relates to the way you feel about him, I feel like it's keeping you in a state of, I don't know if I want to say anxiety, but I feel a little bit of that. I don't know if I'm in full blown anxiety, but I do feel like anxious. You know what I mean? Like anxious. Maybe I'm even anxious when I'm around him type of energy. And I just don't like, how do I say this? Because I don't feel like he's the one that you end up with, but I don't feel like that's a bad thing. I feel like it's a good thing. And I feel like if you're having a hard time remaining friends, um, because he's not, showing that affection, then I feel like you may have to cut ties. Now, if you feel like you can be around him and you're fine and you want to keep him as a friend, keep him as a friend. But I feel like as it goes romantically, I just don't feel like it's going to happen. But I also feel like potentially maybe it's not meant to happen. Um, Now, I'm not saying that we couldn't have you know, fun together and that, but if I'm looking for like serious love, I don't think he's the person. If I'm looking for romance that can last the rest of my life, I don't feel he's your guy. And I feel that because I feel like your person, when they come in, is going to make you a couple things. I feel like they're going to make you feel like a kid again. And I mean that in like, I feel unencumbered. Like, like emotionally, I just want to express everything. But I feel like it also comes back to you. You know what I mean? Like it's an equal type of admiration for each other. Like butterflies and all that. Um, but I hate to just leave it on like butterflies because many people give us butterflies doesn't mean we should spend the rest of our lives with them. Um, I feel like the lovers, first of all, the lovers is a head over heart decision. And that's exactly what you're trying to do. You're making a head over heart decision. And everything that follows that says, follow your head, not your heart in this situation. And I feel like your head is telling you that, just how you wished him happy birthday. And he's like, oh, thanks. You know what I mean? Like another opportunity where someone could have given more but chose not to. Wow. I don't feel like that is your ultimate love. So, with that in mind, the High Priestess, Strength card, and the Emperor, I want to go right below that, and the Death card. Okay. So, I feel like eventually you are going to close the door to him. It's almost like he is your weakness, like he's your kryptonite. And I've got to know that. Like I've got to know that. We can be attracted to people who really will not love us the way that we really want to be loved, but it doesn't mean we can't still be attracted to that. You know what I mean? But I feel like because what I did is I kind of closed the door to that, and then I asked my guides, okay, so if we close that door, show me what's next. So then the high priestess opens the reading up. That's your intuition. This emperor keeps showing. Now, it can certainly represent Aries. It can certainly represent, the future father. But I feel like really what the emperor is representing in the readings today is the type of person that potentially, this is an upstanding human being. This is someone with integrity. This is someone who, this is a person of action and passion and action because of my passion. I feel like if your guides could Well, they are speaking to you. They would say, close that door. Close that door. Remain friends if you can, but if it's too hard, then cut it out of your life. You have every right. You have every right. And I feel like, and then when you put that behind you, so to speak, I feel like the right person will come into your life. And it's interesting because, I try very hard not to cut the other person down. But again, I do feel in this energy where, listen, I feel like if you got in a relationship with him, I feel like it would be you break up and make up and break up and make up and break up and make up and break up. You know what I mean? And I feel like it would be a lot versus who I feel wants to come in for you. Like, no fear of love, no fear of expressing themselves to you. I feel wise beyond my years. And I feel like this is someone that I could call my partner for the rest of my life. I'm feeling like a strength here. Now, that's your potential future. But I can't help but see the death card. And to me, that does mean like maybe one door does have to close. Because again, if you look at it like, okay, I'm speaking to the universe, and, if I leave that door open, then in a way, like through, let's say, the law of attraction, it's like I'm saying I'm not like this is the only love I'll accept. But you guys are like, oh man, if only we could tell her. And so they are. And so they are. I feel like a lot of you, I always feel this in my readings, but I feel like a lot of you are guided. Um, I just feel that. Okay. I hope that helped, Molly. I feel like I'm the bearer of bad news today. But in a way, if it helps you eventually find, like true love, then I'd rather give you the bad news now and then celebrate with you later. Um, I want to read Molly. I want to read your response. Well, your husband is probably the emperor. Oh, look at that. I was just, when you met the man that I recently married, I got the emperor with him too. Wow. Okay, good news. Good. Oh, good, Molly. That makes me feel so much better. All right, guys. I think I'm going to head out. I don't know, Jen, are you still reading for anyone, Jen? Jen, my daughter. Anybody's here, definitely check out her channel, Jenny Love Tarot. I think you guys would love her. A lot of you already know her. But I don't think she's in the room anymore. I just want to make sure she's not in the middle of answering a question, and I stop this. A pentacle, so there's a message fears that either helps someone need or coming your way. Okay, it sounds like she's done. All right, guys, I'm gonna head out. Um, you know, oh, I can't. I was trying to think of Jenny's email, but I can't think of it. Um, but you can send her a message on Jenny Love Tarot, I believe. And I'm just saying those who wanted Jen to read for you, because I don't even know if she's still in the room, and I have got to go. So I want to thank everyone. We will, again, we will schedule a just question and answer reading. I'm hoping for tomorrow evening. We'll see, but I am hoping for tomorrow evening around 6 p.m., maybe 5 p.m., around that time, Eastern Standard Time, by the way. And that's where, I'm not going to do a spread. We're just going to do questions and answers. And I'm usually on for like 4 hours when I do that. But I do have to go because I know my dinner is done. And I love you guys. And I thank you. Thank you, Jen, for jumping on. I don't know if you're still on. She's running a special. She's reading. She's running a personal reading special right now. I don't know how much longer. I think only for a couple more days. What is today? Sunday. This might be the last day. I'm not sure, but you can check that out on her channel too. She is my daughter, so any support you give her, it's like you're supporting me, and I so appreciate it. You know, there's no one I love more. So, anyways, I love you guys. I thank you, and I'll see you really soon at our table. Bye bye. Have a great rest of your Sunday.